Hello and welcome to the TechPrane channel. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how to set up Amazon CloudWatch. Amazon CloudWatch is fantastic for you to monitor any systems that you've got deployed in AWS. So we'll try to monitor an EC2 instance. So this EC2 instance, I'm just about to create that. So we'll monitor something as basic as CPU. You can use it to monitor pretty much any aspect of your system. So it's not just monitoring, it's also being able to send out alerts when certain thresholds are exceeded. Okay, so what am I setting up? So I'm launching an EC2 instance that I'm calling my web server. It will be running Amazon Linux. And I'm going for a T2 Micro that's on the free tier. I've already got my key pair set up. I've configured my network settings. I'm running with the defaults in this case. And storage is also going to be just the default storage, 8 gigabytes, 3000 IOPS. My web server is going to be installed using the user data that I'm supplying here. So I'll do an update, install the server, start HTTPD, and then enable the HTTPD service. Okay, so what I have here on the right hand side is the equivalent of what I'm doing in these steps, but represented as code. So this is great for infrastructure as code approach. So in case you're not familiar with that concept, it's all about being able to provision whole environments by just running scripts. So of course, you can use things like cloud formations or HashiCorp templates, Terraform. But anyway, what I'll do is just launch the instance. So a summary of what we're about to do is what we see there. I'll hit the button. So it starts launching my instance. I can monitor what's going on. So it says initializing request, yeah, launch initiation, done. And if I go to the dashboard, I should be able to see my instance, which is currently initializing. So let me tuck that away. Okay, am I able to connect to this? So probably a good idea for me to connect to this. I can use a number of different options. So I can go with something like an SSH client. Alternatively, I can view that in the browser. Cloud Shell. So get rid of that. That's an alternative way of connecting. The other option, if I've done things correctly, I should be able to come here. So there is one setting missing. So I need to define an inbound rule which says that I can see the console. So let me make that adjustment. So I've fixed my inbound rules. Just to give you an idea of what I did there, this is what I had to do. So I'll go to my instance, and on my instance, select, go to security, and make sure that I have entries for HTTP on port 80 as well as SSH on port 22. You can modify the inbound rules by simply clicking on that security group, and there's a section here where you define inbound rules as well as outbound rules. Okay, so with that small adjustment to the config done, I am now viewing my EC2 instance in the browser. So what is currently running? So I can do something like this. Is the web server running? It is running. And can I actually see what is being served up? So I'll just do something like that. Yeah, so it says, welcome to my classic load balancer, apparently. That's the text within that index HTML. Okay, so let me just check for the public IP address. So curl if config.me. So that's my public IP address there. Copy that and then go to a browser and enter that. And we've got that. Okay. So I'm able to actually access the EC2 instance from the browser. So now let's resume with creating a monitor on the CPU for this machine. So what I'll do is I'll look for CloudWatch. So I'll say CloudWatch. Monitor resources and applications. So I'll select that. And you've got a number of different options, as you can see here. You've got access to logs, metrics, alarms, you name it. All the kind of stuff that's essential for us to be able to monitor the state of health of our machines, our deployments. So what I'd like to do here is create an alarm. So in alarms, all alarms, create the alarm. I'll hit that button to create the alarm, and I'll select a metric. So what metric would I like to monitor? There'll be a variety of metrics here. We just need to choose the most appropriate one. So I'll go first of all EC2, select the EC2, and there'll be per instance metrics. So I'll select that option, and I'll go for CPU utilization. So for my web server, I want to be able to monitor CPU utilization. So I'll select that. That's the only metric I'm selecting. As you can see, these metrics are extensive. It's really entirely up to you what you're trying to monitor on your server. Select the metric. So on the next page here is where I'll start defining the thresholds. So the way you're reading this is, if it were percentages, it's up to 100%, from 0 to 100. And obviously this is the time. So we need to configure the alarm threshold and other important settings. So that's my instance ID there, as you can see. So I'll go to the conditions tab. So I have set up my CloudWatch, and this is the alarm. That's what it looks like. All alarms, and there's also a subscription. So when the alarm is triggered, an email is sent to that endpoint there. And this is the description of that endpoint. So sending via email whenever that threshold of 5% is exceeded. My notification has come through, as you can see here. So it says alarm, my web server CPU alarm in EU London, and we can see the details. I'll create a script that will stress out the CPU. So as you can see here, I have my bash script. And what does this bash script do? As we can see from the bash script, the first thing we do is we determine the number of available CPU cores, this bit here. And then we loop, which is the for loop that we see there. We start a process for each core, and we run an infinite loop in the background to keep the CPU busy. Essentially, that's what we're doing there. Yep. And to kill this, to terminate it, all I need to do is to either do kill all or bash pkill -f, and that will stop -f supplying that as my file. Or I can kill all with the bash. Let me come out of here since I've got the script running already. What I can do is obviously I need to make sure that the script is executable. So I'll run my command to make it executable. That's the command that I'll be running. And I will come here and say it is CPU workload. Make it executable and then run the script. Okay, so while the script is running, I can do something like top, and you notice that CPU is currently running at 99.7%, and the command is coming from the CPU workload script. There are alternative ways of stressing the CPU. You can install something like stress and then run the stress command. What I've shown you here is just an alternative, giving you a little bit more flexibility. So these scripts are useful for things like auto-scaling. If we had auto-scaling, we could actually test what happens when these thresholds are exceeded. Also worth finding out at this stage is whether we've got any notifications coming through. So there is this notification that's come through, and what is it reporting? So it's telling us that the alarm was triggered. So I'm going to grab this bit here, and we can then take a sneak preview, observe what's happening. So let me run that, go to the alarm. Okay, so that's the picture that emerges. Clearly the threshold that we defined has been exceeded, and we got that notification coming through. So like you noticed earlier, there were things you could do when these thresholds are exceeded. Perhaps auto scale, perhaps run some lambda function. It's entirely up to you what the subsequent or ensuing workflow is going to be once these machine thresholds are exceeded. As we can see from this overview, we've got an alarm on our EC2 instance. So I'll click through, view alarms in alarm, and currently this is the picture. So we've had CPU going as high as 99, just over 99.3%. So that's the picture that we get for CPU utilization, average CPU utilization over that time period. Okay. Thank you very much for joining us. If you liked this video, please subscribe to the channel. If there's anything that you'd like us to cover on the channel, please feel free to engage with us. So until next time, thank you very much for watching. Bye now.